I can already hear you in the comment section calling me out as an Ask-Air copycat, as my last few reviews were based off of his videos. I promise this is the last one. I've been wanting to make this list for a while now, since August to be specific. But with what's been happening recently, it's been a bit hard to work on videos. Though I think now's a good time to talk about this. As you all know, many people praise the first 3 seasons of Spongebob as being the best they had to offer, myself included. And today, I want to review all those episodes. The rules are pretty simple as last time. Whole numbers from 1 to 10, and all these scores are based off of my opinion. Now, if you're unaware on how the score system works in these kinds of videos, let me explain. A rating of 1 is absolute garbage. There's almost no redeeming factors about the episode in question. 2 has a couple things going for it, but it's still pretty painful to sit through. 3 is bad. There's no more pain or cringe by this mark, but you would still never recommend this to anyone. 4 can be labeled as mediocre or disappointing. You can tell there was some good intentions to this episode, but all of it is just swelled up by all the issues the episode has. 5 is an average episode. Yeah, like, it exists. You didn't hate it, you didn't like it, it was okay. A 6 is above average. It's an episode you genuinely enjoyed and you didn't actually waste your time, though you're not sure if you feel like rewatching it again anytime soon. 7 is a good episode. While there are still some glaring issues to the episode, you still had a fun time watching them. You could consider rewatching them, but that's only when they air out live on television or you bump into it. 8 is a solid episode. This is a point when we get to an episode that you would often want to rewatch at any time and anywhere. Even with all the issues presented in the episode, they don't detract from a very good time watching it. 9 is an awesome episode. You could just put these episodes on repeat and you would never get tired of it. There might be some noticeable issues, but overall, you had a very great time watching the episode and would actually recommend it to anyone. 10 is near perfect. Next to no flaws in plot, pacing, character setup, execution, or comedy. Now the question is, will there be any episodes on this list that makes a special ranking for good or for ill? Well, there's only one way to find out.
I've been training my whole life for the day I could join the Krusty crew, and now I'm ready.
Simple premise, but pretty entertaining. It's interesting how one small thing can change an episode. How did she get her tree dome underwater? Well, I hope you brought enough for everyone, SpongeBob. The song is the best part. So wholesome. Hasn't Squidward survived worse? Introduction to the best character. Need I say more? The ending feels kind of anticlimactic, don't you think? SpongeBob has the attention span of a nanosecond, and it shows. Great concept. Kind of weak execution. Making a construction segment interesting? At least you tried. We need more Mermaid Man episodes. Great drama setup. Props to the writers. Intentionally annoying is still annoying. Okay, it was kind of cool. Stop bringing up the Santa Claus hat. A well-made Poe reference. Wasted. Not bad filler. Still filler. Is she seriously that dense? They really don't know talent. What's this weird feeling? You'd need hyper reflexes to get muscles from that. The ending kind of makes me think of him. Will you two just kiss already? The situation carries this. This is a kid's show, right? This episode's pretty underrated. And this episode's extremely overrated. Krabs kinda needs to mind his own business. More filler. Yeah, my ears! Tom Kenny must have had a blast with the realism. Slow motion car crash. Could have skipped this. Since when does the Flying Dutchman carry plastic treasure? The bus driver's a dick. The composition was good? Not once did SpongeBob question this. I don't blame Squidward. Neptune is really thick sometimes. Wait, how did Krabs and Squidward pull this off? We needed more Charles Nelson Riley back then.
You think that's bad? I got caught for having bad breath in a public place.
Award? I never got an award before.
I've been in his shoes before. Get it? Get it? Me when I'm watching over my sister. Oh, how can he like that slop? I don't blame Squidward. I'd give this episode an award. He returns. 5 seasons later? How has the pie survived all that? So much for protecting the secret formula. 2020 in a nutshell. What were those pretty patties made of? This is SpongeBob SquarePants? I wouldn't blame Squidward. Could have skipped this. Interesting how one action can impact their friendship. I want Christmas again. Why is SpongeBob friends with Sandy again? Let's teach kids about serious loss and depression. And suck! What I learned about this episode is... it's funny. Oh, you got trouble. Man Ray doesn't deserve to be as good as he is. It counts! The situation just carries this. How would a tiny peanut make a giant clam cry? Why not re-air You Wish instead? Me bathing my dog. So, was anything actually accomplished here? We need more drawing characters. Oh wait, how did he pull that secret off? I cannot think of a single thing wrong with this. Overrated episode. Still good episode. This is so hilarious and nobody talks about it. Literal representation of an insane person. Sort of. There's being Patrick, and then there's being a They got away with cursing. I'm completely speechless. I could do better than that. Funny how Krabs is labeled as a villain here. This huge guy's carrying the episode. Sort of. Squidward made the right call, yet SpongeBob basically ruined it. So much for Sandy being courageous.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for!
I'm so happy Nickelodeon animated my SpongeBob fan fiction. Larry really trusted him because of that? I don't Wait. How many times did I say that? Where was Mystery at SpongeBob's surprise party? Just who does Flats think he is? Real shame they didn't add that deleted scene. Dark. I'm not sure I get this one. What's with people not thinking of an enlargement ray? No. This feels like the battle of Bikini Bottom on cocaine. Trash. Glad that's all wrapped up and doesn't warrant a rehash. Eat your heart out, Fluttershy.
What do you think you're doing? Didn't you see me?
I guess maybe.
Listen here, mister. Just because you're big doesn't mean you get to be a bully. Applejack! Can you please listen to me?
I should not enjoy watching SpongeBob suffer this much. Good up until Squilliam ruined it. How would a robot work underwater? I'm not crying, you're crying! Could Krabs be any more chill? Good up until we get to Patrick's part. Hey, you're what they call a party pooper! I'm not even gonna say it. I wonder why they stopped saying Barnacle Man. Late for being early? I've done that before. Let's parody Jaws and make it kid-friendly. Badly. Why do I like this? One half is bad and the second half is good. There are so many dirty jokes here. Why hasn't Mr. Krabs been arrested yet? A Looney Tunes episode done wrong. That punishment felt tamed. Me? A killjoy? Don't care. What can I say? I love backstories. I can count this episode's problems on one finger. Great harmonies, props. Could he be any more delusional? Cuckoo! Good grief, he's naked! Wait, wrong episode. Done. Okay, that took longer than I expected. Now that leaves the question, what are the best and the best and the worst of the worst? Well, I think because of the sheer number of these episodes, I'm going to change things up a bit. For I'm going to show you guys my top 15 episodes and the bottom 5 episodes. As fun as it is to be negative, I actually want to encourage some positivity and give this season a good send-off. We'll start with the bottom entry, then do 3 tops, rinse and repeat until we're finished. Here we go.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Look, I know it's a joke. I know it's supposed to be part of his character. But as someone once said, intentionally annoying is still annoying. Now, I'm not saying you can't make intentionally annoying funny. Just look at Jellyfish Jam and the algae's always greener. But this wasn't one of those episodes. It's just bad actions committed by a guy who would know better. That's not funny or entertaining.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
As I said in my original Season 3 review, Mystery is one of my favorite one-time characters in the show, and this episode shows exactly my point. She's a funny and lovable companion to SpongeBob despite her bad habits. And on top of that, we have probably one of my favorite morals of any cartoon.
The point is, son, sometimes you have to set things free, even though it's hard. She misses the great outdoors, the wide open spaces. The kitchen is no place for a live horse.
It's one of those messages that I would relate to on a personal level, and it's a much better example for it than that episode.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
I actually swapped this episode with number 11 before finalizing this list, but that doesn't mean the episode is worse by any means. I still really enjoyed this episode. I love the constant competing over the title of Employee of the Month between Squidward and SpongeBob, and the slapstick throughout that whole cheese mean had me laughing so hard I almost wet myself. Yeah, it was that hilarious. It's not the funniest episode, but then again, they're all comedy gold. Mostly. So yeah, it's a great episode and one from the first season I'll definitely go back to.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
If you exclude a certain other episode that will be included on this list, Squidville might just be one of the best Squidward-centered episodes by far. Sure, it does feel like the typical miss the old days despite how annoying it was trope, but I think this is one of the better examples of it. It's interesting how Squidward eventually transitions into boredom as he does the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't seem to fall flat unlike the other times cartoons did this. The only problem I have with this episode is that SpongeBob and Patrick felt like they were forced into the episode. But then again, their actions presented would have made sense for the episode.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! Hey, SpongeBob, do you have any mascara I could borrow? The boy wears makeup?
What a card!
Short, painful, uncalled for, unfunny, and pointless. Like a marriage without the couple signing a prenup. Next.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
Sometimes the simplest plots are always the best episodes. Take Pressure, for example. I love the competing on which is superior between sea creatures and land creatures. The moral of not everyone is best at everything is pretty good. And come on, a live action segment with puppetry. How can you not laugh at that? Just goes to show how excellent a simple premise can be.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
I freaking love snow! This episode had me on board with the snow aesthetic, and the rest of the episode is really great too. You got hilarious moments with SpongeBob, Patrick, and even Squidward as they fight in the snow. And I also really like seeing Squidward suddenly buy into stuff he denies. It isn't the best example, as you'll soon find out as we go further in the list. But with all this combined with the aesthetic, you have a really great winter-themed episode.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
One of the more underrated episodes of the show is The Sponge Who Could Fly. Some people feel like this episode is boring aside from the patchy segments. At least that's what I heard from one reviewer. But I honestly had as much fun with the rest of the episode. It was funny, the moral was great, and it would have served as a great finale to the series before the series decided to continue with a fourth season. I do have one issue with the episode, however, and that's how the Bikini Bottomites acted in the beginning and some of the ending. But other than that, I still really enjoyed the rest of the episode.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I usually see SpongeBob as a mature kind of person caring about others before himself. Well, not with Grandma's kisses. He is just an insufferable crybaby for most of the episode. But honestly, I consider him more into his character compared to everyone else. Squidward and the Bikini Bottom citizens act like children berating SpongeBob for loving his grandma. Although I did chuckle a little at this guy.
Especially if you're a big baby who wears diapers and sucks his thumb and plays with dolls and wears pajamas will feed him and carries his blankie around and
All right already!
But Patrick is probably the worst part about this episode. After he tries to help SpongeBob get out of his childlessness, he decides to stab SpongeBob in the back. And seeing SpongeBob's grandmother treat Patrick with more care and respect rather than her grandson wasn't funny. The only positive I could give this episode is that I can tell there was some good intentions to this episode, though I can't really say the same for the bottom 2 entries on this list.
victory, thy name is Plankton!
Big Pink Loser is the best Patrick-centered episode. I love the comedy and character set presented in this episode. I mean, who could forget these memorable scenes? And I really love the ending of Patrick winning an award for something he's been good at for years. Doing absolutely nothing. It may seem dumb when you think about it, but then again, dumb is how Patrick rolls.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
I can kind of see why this episode would get Ask Air's seal of approval. This episode is just hilarious all throughout. From Squidward quitting the Krusty Krab after being convinced that he stole Mr. Krabs' dime, to SpongeBob offering Squidward some health and care, to Squidward abusing it all, they managed to cram all that into 11 minutes and it somehow doesn't feel rushed. I won't go too far into this episode because I feel like I would be repeating Ask Air, and I have already been doing that enough times if it wasn't obvious.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
What is with the drama in this episode? It's so good! And combined with the adrenaline, I feel like I'm gonna run a mile here. The transition of SpongeBob showing Bubble Blast what he's capable of is really engaging, and we even have some hilarious humor to boot. Except for that one ending joke, I really didn't find it all that funny. This episode makes Bubble Blast one of my favorite supporting characters alongside Larry the Lobster and the Flying Dutchman. And you bet I was excited to see him make a comeback in the bulletin board. And all in all, this is an amazing episode and my second favorite of season 1.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Now, I get what the writers were going for when they made this episode. They wanted to teach kids the idea of losing a really close friend or relative and how one handles that loss. But come on, Loud House is a fair to remember and Friendship is Magic's Thanks for the Memory did this concept far better than this excuse of a classic SpongeBob episode. At least with those 2 episodes, I could say I saw Lori and Rainbow Dash learn a very powerful lesson about life. How everything won't exactly go your way and you have to learn to accept that. What did SpongeBob learn from all this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It felt like they treated it more as a joke rather than something serious. All I felt in this episode was pity, boredom, and agony. The only positive I can give this episode is that it's not number 1. But before we get to that,
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
I look back at my original season 3 review as an idiot, as I didn't further justify my thoughts on 2 episodes. This was one of them. But I don't have much to say about Chocolate with Nuts that hasn't been said before. It's funny, the concept's really clever, the moments were memed to death. It's a fantastic episode. Go watch it if you haven't already.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
I know I'm late to do this, but I might as well set the mood for this next entry. Perfect. Now, most people would have said that their favorite episode would be Pizza Delivery, Fun, or SB129. But my favorite episode of Season 1 has to be Scaredy Pants. From the dark and creepy Halloween aesthetic, to the onslaught of hilarious and clever moments, to the introduction of one of many mystical characters, the Flying Dutchman. A character who I think is so amazing, I might have to talk about him in a future video. So yeah, overall, everything this episode did was enough to make it my favorite episode of Season 1.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
When this episode first aired, I think this was the moment people realized what this show was capable of. Like, holy crap, this thing rivals a Disney product. The characters are at their highest mark, the jokes are absolutely hilarious, and Sweet Victory is, objectively, the best song of the show. I mean, it's no wonder why this episode gets so much praise. And it's only one slot away from the top 3. I guess I just think there are 3 episodes that are better than this one. But that definitely doesn't mean it's worse by all means. This episode deserves all of the praise it gets.
Boo! You stink!
Freeze! You're under arrest! Hold it! You can't arrest him! He's just a student driver! We're not talking about him! But I don't belong here! It's all a big mistake!
Same issues as Born Again Crabs and I'm Was Stupid combined. It's intentionally bad, and it's still bad. And seeing Mrs. Puff suffer so much isn't funny. I never laughed, nor did I smile, even as a child. It's just bad. Really bad.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
Oh boy, I'm probably gonna sound like a bit of a hypocrite with this next entry. So on my ranking of the Loud Sisters, I complained about Lily's only character trait being how she has to rely on being cute and nothing else. And off topic, I need to clarify something. She's actually my 3rd least favorite sister now. Now this would seem like a problem with Junior from Rockabye Bybell, but I let this slide for 2 reasons. First and foremost, he's a one-time character, so he does have that excuse. Second is he's reminiscent of a baby animal rather than a baby human. As for the rest of the episode, it's really, really good. I mean, SpongeBob and Patrick do a great representation of parenthood, and it's funny as hell. My only complaint is how lazily Patrick acted, but I think it's more believable on both sides. Also, the coconut joke did make me chuckle a little. So yeah, it's a fantastic episode and my 2nd favorite episode of Season 3.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
Christmas feels like the very first Christmas to...
I love this episode so much! This completely puts me in the mood for some Christmas spirit. The story of Bikini Bottom going through its first Christmas is absolutely amazing and very heart-lifting. And it was really nice of Squidward to give SpongeBob some hope after he learns the true meaning of Christmas. In fact, all of this not only makes it one of my favorite Christmas specials of all time, but it also makes it my favorite episode of Season 2, and it puts it in my top 5 favorite episodes of the entire show. However, there's just one episode that beats this as one of the best episodes of the first 3 seasons.
Victory, thy name is Plankton!
Nothing knocks it from the top spot. Ever! As I said in my last review, Plankton is my favorite character of the entire show. And this is, quite possibly, his best episode by far. The idea of Plankton getting his entire family to help him steal the Krabby Patty formula is very clever. And it also leads to some of my favorite jokes of the entire show.
Only you can bring honor and dignity back to the Plankton name. For years, it has been my goal to acquire the secret.
Okay, that's enough!
The reason I put this at number 1 is because it takes all the good elements from the other episodes and combines them all into one. With a great plot and setup, very hilarious jokes, and one of my favorite characters of the entire show, you not only have one of the best Plankton-centered episodes, but the best episode of the best season of the show. That is why Plankton's Army is my favorite episode of the first 3 seasons.